Hello and welcome to my live stream talking about Shenmue 3. 2019 is finally here, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that Shenmue 3 is not only a reality, but it's very important to the franchise, especially this year now that it's being released. Now, for a little background, Shenmue is a game that came out originally on the Dreamcast, and it had an Xbox release way back in 2002. That was the last time a Shenmue game was released, up until last year in August of 2018 when we had the re-release of Shenmue 1 and 2 out to the public. And that was partially because Sega was cashing in on the fact that Shenmue 3 got kickstarted back in 2015, in June 2015, and now will be released August 27th of 2019, which is this year. So since the last actual part of the series, Shenmue 2, was released in 2001 or 2002 in the US, there hasn't been another numbered release until this year, which is a very long time, 17 years I believe. So thanks to the fans of Kickstarter and all of the other crowdfunding services that actually supported Shenmue, getting well over $7 million for the game. So, but here we are, 2019, and what we're talking about, and I'm going to continue talking as I play Shenmue 2. I was here just doing like gambling and stuff like that, because this game, Shenmue 2, had a lot of different side games that you can play, and I like to earn money or lose money or whatever. So as I play this, this is a particular game where it's just roll it on top. Whoever rolls the highest roll basically wins money, and you can bet as much money as that you want. So up to $20. $20 is the 20. Oh, I only have $5 left. Are you kidding me? I thought you could bet up to 20, but because I lost all my money in the last roll. Let's hopefully see if I could actually win in this game. So this is why I like this game, is because of the adaptability, the different mini games that you can play that were tons for the time, especially back in 2002. But back on to the subject, what I was talking about. Come on, come on, come on. I won. Yes, 10 bucks. I got 10 bucks. I'm gonna gamble again. I can't help it. This game has me gambling. I don't know if that's good or not, or depends on you guys. But all I want to say is that basically, hang on a second. Let me gamble as much as I possibly can on this. All I basically want to say is it's definitely worth the time and the patience that it takes to play this game. Now, okay, I was using my keyboard. I guess it's been a while since I've streamed, so I'm all like discombobulated and looking at different things and how I would set it up. But I got 20 bucks. I'm gonna get out of there. But moving on with the subject. So we've got 2019. We've got Shenmue 3 going to be re-released. We have a lot of backers. But now one of my main concerns when it comes to the success of Shenmue 3 is that, alright, you've already made money. You've got some funding from third parties, including Sony and others, that are putting funding into the project, so that's a little bit more than what the Kickstarter crowd funded it to be. But when you think about it, everyone who kickstarted it, or at least most that kickstarted the project, already have the game. They're gonna get the game for free, basically, or not for free, but basically they paid to kickstart the project, and now they get to have it for free. Now what that means is that all of the true diehard Shenmue fans, which are the ones who most likely funded it, I mean, no question about it, that money's already consumed. So what you have is you take out the diehard Shenmue fans that have been here over the years, and you're left with basically new fans. Now, Shenmue 1 and 2 HD re-release, that was kind of the purpose, and thankfully Sega supported that. But the purpose of the re-release helped bring in new fans, create new fans. If they didn't get to fund the project, they're going to still want to put their money into the purpose of Shenmue 3. Now, me personally, I want to get the PS4 version of the game, and I'm gonna get the PC version because I'm just going to purchase it on Steam. I don't mind giving them some more money, and that'll probably be a few backers will probably just purchase another copy, but I doubt that's gonna be most of them, because if you've already paid for it, why would you pay for it again? So what you're left with is a game that, because of the lack of its super popularity, could be maybe mediocre. But when you look at the sales of Shenmue, actually Shenmue 1 and 2, the re-release, and like Europe, for example, it did pretty well in Europe. In the US, probably not as well. But that in itself is of concern, because you have, and if my screen looks bright, it's because I changed the settings to make it look a little brighter than what the game is, because sometimes this game could be a little dark, and I'm getting my butt handed to me right now. I guess I should pay attention, but if you don't have that support from oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. I don't want to lose here, so I'm gonna take a breather from these guys. Now, this fighting engine is pretty cool, but it's not easy if you're not paying attention. I will say this, the fighting engine that they had in this version was a little bit kinder to, it almost seemed a little bit easier than the actual Dreamcast or Xbox version. Like, they wanted to go soft on you. I'm backing away because, oh no, I lost. That's because I wasn't paying attention, but this, I still do believe that this version is a lot easier than the actual original Dreamcast release. Not when it comes to the fights, but the actual energy bar lasted a lot longer than what it used to last. So hopefully I don't get my butt kicked this time again. So moving on. So the success of the Shenmue franchise really depends on the new gamers that pick up this game. So how do you get casual gamers or just regular gamers who have never played Shenmue, how do you get them to pick up the third copy? Well, a lot of it depended on the advertising of the Shenmue 1 and 2 so that they could just jump in right on the franchise. But if you have good enough advertising for the third Shenmue, then you'll have fans wanting to pick up the third Shenmue, because you'll get a brief summary of the first two and then continue on from there, as long as the game is good enough, and that we don't know. For example, Grand Theft Auto 3 was the third Grand Theft Auto, but the game was so good and revolutionary that nobody cared about the first two Grand Theft Autos. In fact, they said the name Grand Theft Auto 3 like that's just the name of it, completely disregarding the fact that there was Grand Theft Auto 2 and the original Grand Theft Auto before it. And that in itself is pretty interesting, because if a game's that good, then that game could be so successful it doesn't matter now. Do I believe Shenmue 3 with its limited budget's going to be that revolutionary? I don't know. I can't say no, because they might pick up a few things that make it that next level. I mean, the original Shenmue and Shenmue 2, they were made to be revolutionary. When you look at, for example, I'm playing Shenmue 2 right now, and you look at the fact that this game is open world, and it's a huge open world that I'm playing in right now, with a pretty intricate and detailed story with cleverly cut cinematics. Now, you had cinematics such as Metal Gear before Shenmue, but these cinematics were still directed well ahead of their time, minus maybe the voice acting, though I do appreciate the Japanese voice acting, which is how I have it right now. But with that type of next level thinking, you would think that Ryo Suzuki would want to carry that over as much as he possibly can with his limited budget. So with that limited budget, hi Ty Lord, nice to see you, hi dude. With that limited budget that we have with the Shenmue 3, what he can possibly do that's revolutionary, I don't know. So for it to be a game that's completely remembered, it's got to do something quirky. It's got to do something memorable, because you never know what type of game will actually catch on. I mean, Fortnite, for example, is a game that's insanely popular. But if you look at what it does, at least from a graphics perspective, the makers of Fortnite decided to make it such a graphically simple game that you can run it on anything. You could run it on a cell phone. You could run it on a simple PC. But the fact that you can run it everywhere and the fun factor of it made it a huge success. So it's not impossible for Shenmue 3 to be huge and insanely successful. Tylord says, a lot of people jumped in first time on Fallout 3. Same thing with Witcher 3 and Elder Scrolls 4. That's true. And the fact that you can come later in a franchise and be a success is really what Shenmue 3 has to do. Shenmue 3 has to be enough of that hit. It might not take off as big as those other franchises, especially because Shenmue 3 does not have the budget of those other franchises. But at the very least, if it catches on, then you could have that hit that Sega needs to say, okay, you know what? You don't need to do another Kickstarter for Shenmue 4, which is a possibility. We'll fund the next Shenmue, or they can license it to Yu Suzuki one more time, so that they can get the funding and do what it takes to build the next Shenmue without the need for crowdfunding. If it's that popular, then you'll have publishers wanting to pick it up and fund it without an issue. However, right now we're in that controversial period where it's like, can it succeed? And I believe that it can, as long as it has that little viral edge, is what I call it, from different video games. That viral edge that pushes it over the top. Now, when it comes to a lot of the games today that get pushed over the top, it's usually either a mobile game that just gets real catchy, or it's something that's like online multiplayer. And Shenmue is not built to be an online multiplayer game. Granted, they were in the 2000s developing Shenmue Online because that's where the video game trends seemed to be going, but it almost didn't seem to match, and that project was dropped. And would they put an online functionality? It doesn't seem like that's Yu Suzuki's goal. Yu Suzuki's goal is to tell the story, but Yu Suzuki's goal also is to make money, so he's making a good game. But will this good game connect with modern audiences? Now, the past game, apparently I saw a lot of tweets and I've gotten a lot of messages on how the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-release from gamers who were touching the series for the first time and got through the slow progression of the first Shenmue were very, I guess, drawn in. I mean, that first cinematic from the first Shenmue draws you in, but then it slows down. But as long as you stick with it past the first couple of hours, then the game just pulls you in. Then you're just wanting to find out what else happens, what's part of the story, and where it goes from there. And Shenmue 2 is a lot quicker. I mean, I'm playing Shenmue 2 right now, and the pace of this game just picks up and takes you through the story a lot easier and a lot better. So that's why I tend to prefer and play. I've probably beaten Shenmue 2 a countless number of times, at least 20 to 30 times, believe it or not, when compared to something like the first Shenmue, where it was just too slow and it took too long to beat. Tyler, another comment. Do you think the new dev team has the talent of 1 and 2 devs? I know they don't have the budget adjusted for inflation. Yeah, speaking of, and that's a good point. The development team comes from the original development teams from the first 2 Shenmues. So that's lucky in the fact that they do have the first of all, it's not just the know-how of developing the game, but it's also the know-how of the series. Because I don't know if all you guys remember, but Sonic was one of Sega's most important franchises in the 90s. And Sonic then stepped into 3D, and you had different developers for the 3D versions. But then, when it came to developing Sonic 4, which they wanted to take it to traditional back to 2D perspective, they didn't have any of the original developers. And one would think that they probably had experienced developers, but they didn't understand the physics or pretty much how Sonic was supposed to play. So because you had developers that were could Sonic 4 was pretty. That I won't take it away from it. It was pretty, but it also did not play like the classic Sonic games. So when you compare that to Sonic Mania, which was less experienced developers, they were more like just pretty much homebrew developers and developers that just took the original codes and then just mastered it on their own. You ended up to have a true like nostalgic Sonic game, and that really came from a group that knew the franchise, and that's what really matters. Not so much, I mean, the experience does help, but you need to know and understand the franchise, and because Shenmue 3 has the original group developing for it, you pretty much can guarantee that if you love the original Shenmue and Shenmue 2, you're going to get that same flavor and feeling with a modern twist for Shenmue 3. And that you've got to expect. For example, when it came to recording the voiceovers for Shenmue, you had the original voice actor for Ryo Hazuki going out to Japan and pretty much tweeting that the level of work that he's putting in for, and sorry, I was distracted there trying to not get my butt kicked, but the original development and the script has been improved a ton. So you have these experienced developers that have got almost another additional 20 years of experience and developed Shenmue, making it that much more special, especially for the Shenmue fans, because they know the material and they know how to work with it. So you seem to have the right recipe, and that's what I want to get to. You've got the recipe necessary for the next Shenmue to be great for its original fans. However, is that enough to make it a good Shenmue for new fans? That I don't know, and that none of us know. There are a couple of steps. I'll give you the top 3 things that Shenmue makers can do for Shenmue 3, and actually everyone supporting the project. Top 3 things that you can do to ensure that Shenmue 3 will be a success and carry the franchise forward. First, make a good game. It has to be good. If you do not make a good game, a good Shenmue 3, then you will have an issue and it will just flop. It'll flop just like any other of the Kickstarter campaigns that have been put on Kickstarter and then basically are a distant memory. Like that Mega Man clone remake from the original Mega Man developer. What happened? It was reviewed poorly. So you want to avoid that. Make as good as possible a game that you can with the budget that you have. You have indie developers making incredible games with a limited amount of money because they care to make a good game. So you can do it with whatever budget you have. Just make sure it's good. Second, once you guarantee that you've got a good game and you know you have a good game, and if you need more time for that good game, take more time. what you need to do is give it to reviewers. Give it to those in YouTube. Give it to those that can test the game and really get their hands on it, because once they get the word out there that this game is incredible and that you should definitely play it, then that's when you get the online gamer buzz and gamer community going. Because gamers, we naturally are connected to YouTube, computers, and the internet. It's just kind of something that we do. Okay, we're connected online. We like to play. We like to watch others play good games online and just kind of sit there. And if not, play the games ourselves. And in my case, not only do I like to play the games, I like to stream the gameplay of the games. And just like I'm doing now. So you do that, you're just going to get attention of, oh man, that looks like a good game. I want to play it. Because their favorite YouTubers reviewed it and said it was incredible. Their favorite reviewers online reviewed it and said, you need to play this game. And that's the secret. So those are, make a good game, get in reviewers' hands. And third, so you've reached the hardcore gamers, but now to reach the casual gamers, you have to make sure that your marketing is where it needs to be. Now, whether they have the marketing or not for this game, I'm not sure. But Sony's backed it. So if they've got that marketing and Sony pushes it enough, you're going to have a guaranteed success. And that guaranteed success with Shenmue is what we always wanted and needed in order for the franchise to continue. Me personally, I wish that it would just end with Shenmue 3. Now that's controversial. Not everybody wants that answer. But I wanted a long game, but Shenmue 3. And that's it. End it. Let me get my revenge on Lanti. Learn the fact that it's not all about revenge, but it's about the fight. It's about, you know, family, friends. Keep friends and those you love close to you. All of that. And go from there. But only with one game. Because I did not want the franchise to depend on the fact that you need a successful franchise to conclude the story. It's definitely possible that this story will not be concluded. And if it's not concluded, and because, you know, you don't meet those 3 criteria, which I believe are absolutely important. Maybe at least 2 of the 3, get all the hardcore gamers behind it and the reviewers. If you don't get that, then I'm concerned for the franchise. And nice one. I have a Ty Lord. I have a bad feeling Walmart will only get 2 copies and sell 1. Personally, I think that the gaming franchise has changed in that a lot of people can digitally download games, so success for a game could be just digital downloads. However, putting it in stores also gets it to your casual gamer, so that's very important to get it to your casual gamer. So I don't know, we'll see. Basically that's pretty much my feeling on Shenmue and the success of it and what's gonna happen. But what do you guys think? Thank you, Ty Lord, for commenting. Hey, do you think Zumi is Landi? I actually made a video about that where I thought that that's a possibility, and that's Li Xiaotao is Landi's sister. And that has been proven to be incorrect based off of a comic that was released with Shenmue 2 that pretty much shows you kind of a side story of what happened there. However, it's still possible because, first of all, retconning is not something that's completely implausible. And second, it makes the most sense. To me, it makes a lot of sense to really bring the fact that during Shenmue 2, spoiler alert, during Shenmue 2, Li Xiaotao gives you half of a yin and yang amulet, where her brother has the other half. And she gives it to you to hold on to, but why would she do that unless you were where she didn't suspect that you were eventually going to run into her brother? That's really what I believe. She completely believes that they're going to run into each other. Now, whether that's Londi himself or someone who works for Londi, we'll find out. So yeah, and that point that you make about the similar facial scar, I feel you on that one. I've noticed that, and that's why my theory is leaves it open. We can only leave it open to interpretation and seeing what happens to Ryo and Shenmue 3 and the whole storyline. But I'm gonna call it a night from here. I'll actually save the game right from here too. So I want to thank everyone for signing on. I want to thank Ty Lord for specifically for participating in the conversation. But if you're not catching this live stream, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll continue to update this post and reply to everything as I usually do. And we'll take it from here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, for everyone who watches either later or now during the live stream, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Hit that notification so that you can know when my next live stream's gonna come at you or my next video, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, this is Magnus signing off. And I'm hitting that stop streaming button, and I don't know where my mouse went. There it is. Okay, now I'm really getting out of here. See you guys later. Bye-bye.